thumbs up. Vikas settled in for the night, quite satisfied with himself. He knew that he had upset both Kalpana and Karan, but deep within he also knew that he had done the right thing. 18 years is a delicate age and a delicate stage of life. A teenager could go astray if not restrained at the right time. We are still Indians living in India, thought Vikas to himself. We do not permit our children to drink and smoke at this young an age, do we? Vikas was not a strict father, but very cautious and very careful. It had been precisely 8 months when Rajesh Gupta's son Amol was caught smoking weed behind his college canteen. The whole business of police and press, and especially the fact that Amol smoked weed, was so difficult to take in for the Gupta family. Kamal Nath's son had taken to drinking after his trip to Goa with his college friends. Shyam, his own nephew, had become a chain smoker to create a macho image. All of this scared Vikas. He and Kalpana had worked hard to bring up their children in comparative luxury. They had a cozy flat, a good income, and dreamt of sending Karan and Vedehi to the US for higher studies. Vikas did not mingle much with their neighbors, the Agrawals. Their son was a spoiled brat, and for years just whiled away his time in chasing girls, wearing expensive clothes, and loitering around with friends. It took a Herculean effort on part of the parents to finally push him into the family textile business. Ashish had spent 28 years of life not being focused on anything, so he never really put his heart and soul into the family business. It was obvious that Vikas looked upon Ashish as a poor influence on his own children. Life had taught Vikas that a teenager's company could make him or break him. Hence, he worried about Karan's friends and the company that he kept. After all, a man is known by the company he keeps. Trip to Udaipur with friends at this age? Impossible. There is no way I will allow this, thought Vikas to himself, and reached out on the bedside table to pick up Ruskin Bond's book, A Time for All Things. Just below the book, he saw a sheaf of papers. Curious, Vikas picked them up. They were forms to various universities in the US that Karan was applying to for the fall intake. Vikas had to scrutinize them. Universities in Berkeley, Chicago, Seattle, New York, and Boston. Vikas couldn't believe that Karan had grown up so much to be able to fly away for higher studies. He mentally began to calculate the kind of shopping and travel arrangements that will have to be done. How Karan will have to look for a place to stay, then settle in with new people in a new country, new surroundings, and that too all alone. But then he will have to manage all of this, won't he? And then suddenly, the conversation, or rather the confrontation that took place 2 hours ago, came flashing back to Vikas. He had denied permission to Karan for going out on a picnic for 2 nights and 3 days with his friends to Udaipur. Why? Because he feared that his teenage son might begin to smoke and drink and feel that he is the boss and he can take all his decisions himself. But wasn't Vikas ready to send the same son all alone across the 7 seas to the US? Who will keep an eye on his smoking or drinking or several other habits that Vikas feared Karan might pick up? Didn't Vikas smoke himself? Why was he ready to take a moral stand for his son, whereas he himself hadn't been able to give up on smoking in all these years? Vikas realized that he was simply being impractical, over-demanding and downright arrogant towards his son. each individual is different. If Amol was caught smoking weed, it is unfair to think that Karan would do the same. If Ashish hadn't done anything with his life, if Kamal's son had taken to drinking as a teenager, was it right to think the same of Karan? The relationship that the Guptas and the Naths shared with their children was neither friendly nor amicable. Kamal thought that his son had to respect him just because he was the father. Hadn't Kamal done the same to his father? But Vikas always understood that children have to be befriended. Their trust has to be won over. And his action in the last 2 hours, it was anything but friendly. It was dictatorial, in fact. Vikas had to trust his son, patiently try and explain the intricacies of life to him, talk about his own weakness of not being able to give up on smoking, perhaps sit down himself with a drink with Karan and explain how social drinking was okay, but one mustn't be addicted to it. Vikas couldn't become the strict and irrational father that his friends were. Vikas had never reversed his decision in the past, but tonight he decided he would. He took out the money from his wallet and slowly entered Karan's room. Karan was talking on the phone and was frankly quite shocked to see his dad walk in. Silently, without uttering a single word, Vikas put the money on the table, reached out and patted Karan's shoulder, made a thumbs up sign, and left.